Hello and welcome to another fantastic day in the markets today. The Dow closing for the first time above 15,000. Wow. Didn't I tell you all about it that the Dow has a lot more room to go up? Even though we know that it is on inflated numbers and it is another bubble being formed, we knew that it would yet continue to rise. Your daily review of May 7th and the preview of May 8th, your daily dose of the events that shaped the Forex markets. Now, the past is like using your rearview mirror in the car. It's a good to glance back and see how far you've come. But if you stare too long, you'll miss what's right in front of you. That's so apt for the technical and traders out there who try to predict the future by looking at the past. It just cannot work. Now let's go towards our results. We had no trades. We had two potential trades, and we did not have any trade. We were initially looking at the Australian US dollar and the Australian interest rate. Well, let me correct myself. We did not have any post news trades. We did have a spike trade, but it's anyone's guess where one would have been filled in out here. So we're not going to be accounting for that. And after that, we did not have a particular trade in case the rates were cut. So there we go. Now, the Reserve Bank of Australia cut rates to a record low. Let me share something with you out here. The Australian Central Bank it cut its interest rates by 25 basis points on Tuesday to a record low of 2.75% to boost economic growth in a move that surprised many analysts, including yours truly. I wasn't expecting this. And it knocked the Aussie dollar to the lowest level in just over a month. However, softer than expected inflation data last month and signs of weakness in the China economy, which is Australia's biggest trading partner, it had kind of sort of sparked some talk in the markets about a rate cut, but I wasn't buying into that. But now I should look more closely. In fact, the board had previously noted that the inflation outlook would afford scope to ease further, should that be necessary to support demand. This is what the RBA Governor Stevens had said, and basically that's indeed what happened. So I need to pay more or close attention. It just whizzed by me. Maybe it could have been a good, pre-news trade. Now I mentioned this that the Dow closes above 15,000 as world shares gain. In If you've been following my post for some time, you know what my predictions on the Dow are. That it's going to go much higher. We looked at the PE ratios. We looked at quite a few things. Here we go. At 4:31 Eastern Standard Time, we basically had Dow at 15,056, and you see that most of the markets rose. The highest was the BBC Global 30. That's what BBC tracks. So followed by the DAX, followed by the Dow. None of them made over a percentage point gains, but this basically says that apart from the European and the American markets, the rest of the world, which is seen by this BBC Global 30, did far better than these two markets. Now let's look at major world indexes. I like you to, pay a close attention on Japan because I've been talking about Kuroda printing money and printing money and printing money, and we've been looking at it through the perspective of the USD JPY, that the USD JPY is going to rise and rise and rise, and I'd given some bold predictions which now are no longer very bold because most of the analysts are kind of you know gravitating towards what my predictions are. But when the Japanese yen was super strong at that time, I'd mentioned that we'd be looking at USD JPY at 100, and now I'm looking at the USD JPY at 105. Now let's look at the major indexes, and let's look at this from another perspective. When new money is printed in the market, it has to go somewhere. And the first place it tries to go is the stock market. So let's see what happened to the various stock markets in the world. Now, this is the Morning Star. Basically, it is a index performance in terms of percentage. And what I want you to look at is the year till date. All right. Now, the US market on an whole has had a year till date return of 14.35%. That's good. And we can look into different sectors to see which is actually moving the market. And the answer is that the mid value stocks are the ones which are in fact moving the market. But that's not what I brought this thing up for. What I want you to actually look at is start looking at the world markets. Look at what how much Japan is growing. 38% compared to 14% on the US stock market. Look at this. This is another 36% growth. And what is it? It's the Nikkei 225 average PR JPY. So again, Japan is the Japanese markets are growing the most because the inflation which Kuroda wants to actually bring about in Japan, um, money needs to go somewhere. It is like a balloon, and that's where in fact it's actually going now. Yesterday I did mention about a carry trade alternative to the traditional buy high yielding and sell low yielding kind of a game. So I'm going to yet have my offer open in case my subscribers want to know more about this. Just send us an email. I need 10 subscribers to start a webinar on this. All right, of course, it's going to be free, of course, for the subscribers. Now, let's look at what the relationship between China and USA. China to USA, we did not cyber attack you. Now, the Pentagon released a report saying that the China is cyber spying on the US military and private businesses in an effort to modernize its military and acquire better technology. Now, the Chinese military denied the accusations. It said the Chinese government and armed forces have never sanctioned hacking activities. So, well, we do not know what the truth of the matter is, but the world opinion seems to gravitate towards that China is in fact getting ready, or flexing its cyber arsenal. And what kind of an havoc can this cause? It can cause, forget the military havoc, it can jeopardize launchers, it can do a lot of ruckus. But let's say they cannot get into the military establishment. What else kind of destruction can hackers cause? Let me share something with you. You remember these flash crashes out here? Flash crashes are crashes which like go down, zoop, and go up. Now, the May 6th flash crash was basically based on a rumor that explosion had been heard on, um, uh, you know, uh, President Obama's White House, near his house. So that was, I do not remember the date, but that was one of the flash crashes. And this is May 6th, not of this particular year, but we did have a flash crash, and then we had a recent flash crash too about a month ago. Now, the point is that that particular flash crash was caused by some news organization's Twitter feed being hacked. Now, can you imagine that the destruction it caused just by a hacking of a Twitter feed? Forget anything else. They were not able to hack, or the hackers weren't able to get through anything of any material nature, weren't able to hack the banks, weren't able to hack the news accounts itself. Just the Twitter feed of the news account could cause a flash crash. And basically, for any trader, if they had any stops, they would have been wiped off. In case they were leverage traders, they would have been wiped out. So that is why cyber attack and cyber spying is very important, and it's perhaps the way the future is going to look. Um, Maybe the new wars will not be won with military might alone. They'll be won by nerds behind computer screens. Now, a sad day for us today. States are closer to be able to tax internet sales. Now, bill passes the Senate. Now, the U.S. Senate voted 69 to 27 to pass a bill authorizing states to collect sales tax on online transactions, even if the seller has no physical presence in that state. Now, the Speaker basically plans to refer the measure to the House Judiciary Committee. A spokesman of the committee chair said that he has reservations about the measure's potential effect on small business and its complexities. Well, basically, it's going to be make it very complex for small businesses like us, and we might have to collect tax on the behalf of the different states. Let's see how things progress. Now, we have already looked at flash crashes and how do you profit from that. Um, I think I'll pass on this right now since we've already spent about 13-14 minutes already. So I'm going to talk on this some other day. But I'd like to share with you a first. The SEC has charged a municipality with security fraud. Now, what do you mean by that? Now, look at this Harrisburg. It is the city in Pennsylvania. It is the capital city of Pennsylvania. Now, the city's balance sheet had been plagued for years by pet projects such as a $220 million upgrade to a municipal trash machine. Basically, now the feds came in and people came in and accused the city of failing to disclose to the investors, which was way back in 2008, that its bonds had been downgraded, and in 2009 failing to disclose 2.3 million in debt obligations which the city owed. Basically, if this was any small time company, they would be fined heavily. But what happened to the city under the terms of the settlement announced yesterday? At the same time as the charges, the city neither admitted nor denied any wrongdoing, and a little, pinky swore it would never happen again. Oh ho ho, we're not going to do this again, and that's it, and got away with it. So that's the review for today. Let's look at what's in store for us tomorrow. Now tomorrow we have two awesome trade potentials on May 8th. We have the CPI coming out from 3:15 a.m. and then we have the New Zealand employment change coming out. You know, and then we have the Australian employment change and unemployment rate coming out. So we have three potential trades. Let's see what happens, and talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.